and welcome to the 2022 Pratt & Whitney Singapore Invention Convention. I'm Francine.
And I'm Edwin.
And
we're your MCs this morning.
Today marks the opening of the 4th Invention Convention in Singapore, and we appreciate the support of our presenting sponsor, Pratt & Whitney. This year's Invention Convention is extra special because it marks our first in-person convention since the pandemic started. We would like to thank Temasek Polytechnic for hosting us at their brilliant campus. We are grateful for the partnership that was shared with them for over the last 3 years. Today, we're proud to recognize Temasek Polytechnic as co-organizer for this event. We would like to extend our appreciation to our guest of honor, Dr. Chong Yok Sin, for gracing us with your presence today. We would also like to thank all of our speakers, sponsors, esteemed judges, educators, parents, guests, and of course, our inventors for being here today. This year, we're joined with regional participants from Vietnam, Indonesia, and Japan. Let's welcome them!
The annual Invention Convention is a celebration of our inventors. Each of them have shown resilience, creativity, and innovation in their journey of invention. This year, we have more than 100 inventors with brilliant inventions tackling real-world problems in various categories, including sustainability, health and medical, education, lifestyle, and many more. To all of our inventors, congratulations on coming this far in your invention journey. Let's give them a big round of applause.
Over these 2 days, our inventors will be presenting live in front of judges. Their submissions will also be scored by industry professionals and educators from all over the world. Winners from this year's Singapore Invention Convention will receive awards and be invited to compete in the Global Invention Convention 2023. I can't wait to see what our inventors have in store for us this year. Let's take a look at what we have in store for the Singapore Invention Convention.
I look forward to sharing K-Cal at the convention and to checking out other cool inventions. Bye-bye, see you there!
Pratt & Whitney has been a steady supporter of the event. They've joined us as corporate judges and keynote speakers over the past 2 years. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Yogesh Vaswani. He is the Regional Vice President of Asia Pacific Customer Business at Pratt & Whitney. Mr. Yogesh Vaswani currently leads commercial engine customer engagement for Pratt & Whitney across the Asia Pacific region. He joined Pratt & Whitney in 1996 and held various roles, bringing him with him more than 25 years of experience in launching new game-changing products, commercializing new technologies, managing enterprise risk, driving business performance, and enabling customer success. With Pratt & Whitney driving innovation in the aviation space, we're honored to have Mr. Faswani open the event with his remarks. Take it away, Mr. Faswani.
Thank you. Firstly, thank you to the person who invented the stage so that short people could face the camera above these mics. Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for being here, for your support of these young inventors. Good morning, Dr. Chong, for your support of this initiative, Temasek Polytechnic, ladies and gentlemen, and especially the judges who are going to take the time over the next 2 days to evaluate, assess, provide feedback, and further inspire these young inventors. Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here. I wish I was a science major. I wish I was a technology major. Math is all I could master. But it gives me great joy to be here representing Pratt & Whitney. We've been conquering gravity for a long time, and I think maybe we should take a minute or two to reflect on what's possible, thanks to STEM, thanks to science, technology, math, and mostly, energy and inspiration from creative minds. 125 years ago, right about Christmas time, the Wright brothers managed to take first flight. About 100 years ago, Pratt & Whitney's WASP engine helped power the first flights and many other record flights for the US Navy, Amelia Earhart, and others. 50 years ago, you had a Boeing 747, again powered by Pratt & Whitney engines, to give lift to heavy loads and conquer distances safely, pretty fast for those times. But then you look at what's possible today around you in terms of software and technology, where pilotless autonomy is on the horizon. Hypersonic is being talked about. Whereas we used jet fuel way back when, now thanks to science and technology, we're talking about fuel alternatives and even hydrogen. So all of this is possible because of people like you, young and old, who have tried to apply ourselves to real life problems, to creative solutions. I was telling someone the first exhibit I ventured into was the banana peel sorter. If anyone gets a chance, go check it out. Simple things, right? Simple things. That's where curiosity begins. That's where solutions begin. So thank you for all those young minds who have taken the time and effort to prove yourselves, to justify your idea, to give it form, to tell your story, and to give us this joy and this hope that what we've seen around us so far in the last, our lifetimes of 20, 30, 40 years, is going to pale in comparison to what's yet to come. I once again thank Temasek Polytechnic. I thank Pratt & Whitney for supporting such causes, and the judges for taking this time to curate these minds and make this a turning point for many. Without much ado, I'll hand over the proceedings and look forward to many interesting presentations over the next 24 hours. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Faswani, for sharing your thoughts on the importance of innovation for a brighter future.
Yes, and now we would like to introduce Ms. Susan Mistowi, lead judge at the Pratt & Whitney Singapore Invention Convention. Susan's passion for invention education began in the early 90s when her children participated in the program. She volunteered with the Connecticut Invention Convention for many years before joining the organization as Associate Director and later Executive Director. She has since retired but remains very much involved as our Executive Advisor. So Susan was supposed to fly into Singapore to join us in person. However, unfortunately, she isn't here with us today because she caught COVID right before her flight. Yes. So Susan sends us her well wishes, and we actually have a video of her words of encouragement. Let's take a look at what Susan has to say to our young minds.
COVID had other plans for me. Hello! I'm so pleased to welcome all of you inventors here today. Wish I could be with you in person, but COVID had other plans for me. All the judges are so excited to see your problem-solving skills in action. You tinkered with your prototype, you overcame challenges, you learned new skills, and along the way, you succeeded. Now you get to show us how you solved that problem. Today, you're an inventor. But remember, tomorrow you'll be an inventor too. And you need to keep inventing to solve those problems. Remember that tinkering is thinking. And you'll be all of our future problem solvers. Have a great invention convention.
Thank you once again to Susan for the heartwarming message. And once again, technology saves the day. And invention education strives to encourage our innovation. And through a rigorous invention process, our students hone their skills in critical thinking and creative problem solving, build empathy, and take risks, and also change the world. The invention journey begins with identifying a problem. Next, they research to understand the problem and brainstorm ideas. Then they design and build and test their inventions before communicating their solutions. Well, enough from me. Let's watch our inventors in action.
Let's give it up for our inventors. All right, and we're now going to invite our guest of honor, Dr. Chong Yuk-sin, to say a few words. Dr. Chong is the managing partner of iGrow Partners, a leading venture capitalist firm with interest in early growth companies. She sits on the boards of HUUE Incorporated, Anavel Limited, Wilmar International Holdings, and SG Enable. Dr. Chong is an immediate past president of the Singapore Computer Society and the founding CEO of Integrated Health Information Systems. Dr. Chong is no stranger to the Singapore Invention Convention. She has been a firm supporter of invention education and the event. Dr. Chong, please.
I understand the wonder of this invention of the podium support. Anyway, right, very good morning to every one of you, right, to believers of invention and to our perpetrators of invention, that's all our participants. So big congratulations to Idea Academy and PWSIC for having this platform for our inventors to perform. So for today, I'd like to, first of all, I'm very grateful, right, for this opportunity to be here to address you. I think the Idea Academy, right, and this whole convention has got special meaning for me because years ago during COVID, my little nephew participated in this very convention, right? He was so enthralled, at being able to speak to a judge who was a professor, on the panel and being able to answer questions and all that, right? So he had a little app called WorkPal, which does, scheduling, right, priorities, right, for his parents. Anyway, so aside from that, I think for today's, communication with you all, right, I'd like to perhaps make 3 points, right? The first of which is that we ought to be very grateful for platforms like these, right? Because these actually give really a platform and a space, right, for inventions to be recognized. And inventions, be they big or small, right, from little ones to older ones, etc., right? I think this is very key because having a platform actually helps to actually move, the whole culture of invention and innovativeness. And the second point I'd like to say is that actually, technology and science, right, or STEM, right, has actually moved our lives and our livelihood in ways that we cannot imagine, right, until now, until we see the technology, right? So I tend to actually not agree with necessity is the mother of invention, but more than that, right, is the fact that we need to innovate so that we can invent, right, good solutions, right, that we may not have thought about, right, but actually the solutions and the benefits, right, come forth and are recognized, right, when there are platforms where the technology is actually able to actually proliferate. So that's the second point, right, the importance of STEM. And the third is that all of us can be inventors in our own space. In whatever we do day to day, minute to minute, we can be inventors with an innovative spirit. So the first point is actually, platforms. So right, for example, right, when Elizabeth Graham Bell invented the telephone, right, it just sat there and people were wondering why, if you need to communicate with somebody, then you wire the two fellows up, right? Does that serve much of a purpose, right? But the telephone became a real touted invention where many people could communicate across it. And it became even better like today, right, when we have smartphones, right? So the key is that an invention needs to have a platform, right? So until you have the platform, you will never be able to recognize the full fruits of that invention. And platforms like these are very important because, they start the child young, right? Which is my last point about, every one of us can be innovative and we can maybe, invent. So what's the difference between innovativeness and inventiveness, right? So usually when we talk about an invention, right, that is associated, in my parlance, right, where I come from, right, when we invent, where we actually vet through companies and do the due diligence, we also always have to look for patents, right? So the patents are the testament of the invention. It means that nobody can copy it and you are the rightful owner. So it is a way to protect the inventor, right? But inventions come from having an innovative spirit. It means And any time, right, whatever we do, it could be in science, it could be in arts, it could be in music, whatever it is, right? The fact that we are always looking for the next best answer, right? And the next best answer doesn't have to come from a necessity, right? It could come from a creative mind, right? Envisioning the future ahead. So, but all that comes to nothing if you are just to keep the thoughts to yourself, right? So, whereas if you have platforms like these and full and good participation in these platforms, right, then that's when, other people get to enjoy, right, your invention. So having that innovative spirit, where innovation means the ability to create something new, right, may not result in that thing being uniquely new, but it could be a new application. So there's always a lot of controversy between the iPhone and the telephone that Alexander Graham Bell invented, right? It's an iPhone and invention. So there's some quarters that say that iPhone is actually just innovation because it applies all the facets, right, of all the other inventions in order to produce a new gadget, right? That is a smartphone, and it is an innovation because Steve Jobs was able to create an entire ecosystem around the iPhone. So you don't only just have a phone to connect, but you have an ecosystem of apps, that monetizes, all right, and makes money out of that, right? App Store, for example, and then you could have a lot of social media and so on. So the phone actually transcended its immediate purpose, right? So it's become a part and parcel of our life, right? It is a trace together tool, it is an identification tool, and so on. So really having that platform is very key. And many people look for the platform, right? If you are an inventor, you have to, like what the entrepreneurs are doing, right? They look for people to fund, right? And create their platform, which is their company. But having that innovativeness, right, to actually fuel the whole spate of invention, I think is very important. And education institutions like this, right, Temasek Poly, right, working in concert with many other movers and shakers of this purpose, right, will actually make that difference. So I commend you, for this platform. So secondly, I'd like to say that actually a bit of what I said about inventions, right, they remain in isolation until they are shared. Okay, and actually we need to look and apply our innovativeness, right, to where we can actually combine many inventions, as we talk about Steve Jobs, right? We could combine many inventions to make a new one, or to make a new innovation. So whether it's called invention or innovation doesn't matter, as long as you find, lots of people who can use it, right? And that goes back to the first point, right, is to look for the platform. Right, so actually many, I can't, it's kind of like limitless, right, to talk about all the inventions, right, that have resulted, from innovation and that have actually now permeated our lives, right. So we wouldn't have survived COVID if we did not have, digital health, we did not have Trace Together with all the tokens, possible, right, due to technology. So a lot of the foundations are laid long ago, but they get built on top, right, with innovation, all right, with the combination of inventions to result in new applications, right, that actually help us. That even aviation, right, if the Wilbur brothers didn't have a platform too, right, and kept that, right, it would just remain as some silly fellow, right, trying to fly, correct? So the key is that we need to build upon one another's innovativeness and invention, and to have a spirit of innovativeness that starts young, right, to the third point. And if you start young, right, and go through with life having a spirit of curiosity, a spirit of being able to do well and to do better each time, right? We don't only look at just a particular state, right, that we have achieved, but we always think about how much better can we make this particular solution. I think if we have that mindset, right, and we share that mindset, and that's key, right? And we also share our invention and our innovation, that's when we all can progress. So I'm one who's against all these US chip acts and all that, where we're, unfortunately today, right, we're talking a bit about more nationalization and globalization. I think that inventions and innovations have to be absolutely shared, so that we all can progress together. So I think that enough, of us to actually embrace this, right? And I do hope that with this, right, I'm sure MOE and all the polytechnics, the universities are in together, right, with this idea of innovation, right, occurring and happening, right, at the very core of our education foundation. I think with all that in place, I think Singapore will, nationally we will actually do very well, right, amidst all these other, kind of crazy sanctions that's happening. So I'd like to end off by saying that we all can start young, and to the inventors, right, it's very commendable that you're entering, right, this competition, but keep it up, right, and always never lose sight of your curiosity, your ability to collaborate with others, and to produce something useful always. So it could be virtual, it could be maybe producing a very good point or an argument, or making a good argument for something. But whatever it is, right, in all aspects of your life, be innovative and inventive, right? And the invention will come one day, right? But always, innovativeness is the crux of it should be the crux of your attitude. And that will stand you very well in life, whether it's grades, for the exams or whatever, but you will find that you will have an open mind, right, and be very optimistic, because, optimism can only be sustained if you are innovative, right, and being innovative means that you don't only act based on just a vision, but really grounded in facts and data, as well as, what actually can be done and what actually needs to be improved upon. So with that, right, I'd like to wish the convention, right, a very happy judging and very happy, and fruitful, right, 2 days of the convention. And I hope that you all actually form good networks among yourselves, right, and build upon ideas, right, and let the spirit of innovativeness always pervade. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Chong, for your encouraging words to our inventors. Let's give it up once again for our inventors.
Our inventors have worked really, really hard on their projects, so don't forget to visit your booths at the foyer and to watch and marvel at their incredible inventions. And you might also be able to have a chat with our inventors in person and find out more about their inventions. If not, you can always scan the QR codes at their booths, and if our inventors aren't there in the booths. So now, inventors and guests are also invited to engage in the activities specially prepared by our sponsors at their booths. At 4 p.m. today, inventors may join in a coding workshop held here in Auditorium 2. And of course, the highlight of the Invention Convention. I'm sure our inventors are excited for the judging circles, where they'll get to communicate their ideas to the judges. All the very best inventors will be rooting for you.
Okay, so we've come to the end of the opening ceremony. We would like to invite you to join us tomorrow for the award ceremony at 5 p.m., held right here in this auditorium. So right now, can we just have everyone move to the center of the auditorium for a photo? So everyone, just come together. We're taking a photo. Squeezy, squeezy. If you could just fill up the space in the middle, that would be great.
MC, do you want to join us? Yes.
Sure.
Sure.
Let's smile, everyone.
1, 2, 3. All right.
Get all the angles. 1, 2, 3.
3.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
Thank you all for being here today. We'd like to thank our guests of honor, speakers, inventors, educators, sponsors, and guests. This event would not have been possible without you.
Yes, remember to follow us on our social media handle at STEMI.advantages to stay updated. And don't forget to tag us and use the hashtag
#InventionConventionSG.
Finally, please join us for a buffet lunch at the foyer.
Thank you, everyone.